What's going on, guys? Welcome to Golden Setups. I'm your host, Golden Focus, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Usually I do the how I traded. I did do like 165%, I believe on SPX, but and I'll show you my trade really quickly, but I really don't want to dwell too much on that. We're doing some bar by bar replay stuff here, but let me go ahead and stop that real quick and move over to today's trade, which is right here. This is a trade a lot of us took today, live trading. I was live trading with those who took my VIP SAW session, which is trade coaching and education that I provide. And we all traded live together, and we took this trade together, and it was a banger of a play. There were a few other plays we took together, like the break of this. This is the break of this to the upside. That was great. A lot of us made some good money there, and a lot of those testimonials you'll find in the free Telegram channel. You can go to goldensetups.com, select social at the top, and then select the free Telegram channel, and you can see what I'm talking about. But I want to transition and do something a little bit different here. I want to speak to those who are on the verge of giving up, or those who are losing steam and losing encouragement. I just want to take a second and address those guys. And so here's what I would tell you. If you're in a position where it's just like, man, I just keep getting loss after loss after loss, and I'm just like, it's just not working, man. And, I tried all these different discords, and I tried, and it's just loss after loss after loss. Here's what I want to tell you. I've been there, right? I've been there. I've been trading for 7 years, and my journey it's not been an easy one. But what I will say is, when I was at that point, there was a point where I was doing the same thing. I tried everything. I tried, MACD crossovers, moving average crossovers, RSI divergence. I tried, this is too many to name. There's a lot of strategies out there. I tried them all. And the one that stuck with me and that stuck with my personality the best was trend lines. And that's what I trade. I trade against trend lines, and I have a very specific methodology to be able to trade this, and it works really well. But it took me a while to get here, and it took me a while to develop this thing. And so that's what I would do. I mean, I was trading the other strategies, and I was getting loss after loss, big win, big loss, big win, big loss. It's like falling up a mountain. And so I was like, man, I got to figure this thing out. Then after that, I started looking at the trend lines. I started looking at pullbacks. I started looking at flags. I started looking at these things, and they started to make sense. And so even in developing that strategy and developing this system, there was same thing. There were some big wins and big losses. And, the first time I felt like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. There were times where I would get into a trade. Now, the good thing about this particular trade plan and this strategy that I have is that you can make a lot of money. And I show that in a lot of my how I traded videos. You can make a lot of money for sure. But the flip side of that is greed. And so, when you're up, like in this trade here, when you're up over 100%, you're psychologically, you're going to think, you know what, we're going to get to 200, we're going to get to 300%. But that's just not the case. And there's been cases in my early days where, I'm up, triple figures, and I am holding on so I can make more money. And I would watch this trade that's in the green turn red, right? I would watch me go from 80% to negative 50%. I'd watch that. And these were the times where I was just like, early in my career, like, I don't know if I could do this. Like, what's wrong with me? I'd beat myself up, man. I try to figure out what's wrong. I was like, man, did God curse me? Like, what's going on? I feel like I'm failing my family and all that good stuff. So I went through all the emotions. I went through all the emotions, but this is what kept me from quitting. What kept me from quitting, I remember hearing a quote from Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee said that, it's not about, the person. I'm not scared of the person who knows 10,000 kicks. I'm scared of the person, or I'm concerned rather, of the person who knows one kick really well, right? And so that told me, like, I really needed to master this, and I needed to figure out what I was doing wrong. So that was step one, right? Step one, I needed to master my trade plan, right? I needed to pick one time frame and master it. So I tried it on the one, and it was really shaky. I tried it on the 1 and it was really shaking. You guys can see the 1 minute, and if this is to anybody who has an anxious personality, anyone who finds himself, trading with anxiety, the 1 minute is not for you. If you find yourself over trading, the 1 minute is not for you. All right. And I'm telling you because I've been there. It's not for you. You need to go up a few time frames, maybe go up to the 3 minute. I would recommend the 5. You will trade a lot less, and you will let your trades play out longer. All right. So that's number 1. That's what I had to do. That's what I learned from trading the 1 minute, right? And so I was like, all right, cool. I need to go to a higher time frame. So I went to the 5 minute. I actually tried many time frames, but I landed on the 5. So that was number 1 that kept me from quitting. I needed to master my trade plan and master my strategy on one singular time frame. And so what did I do? How did I do that? I went back, I drew trend lines, I went back, I measured, I went back, I looked at support and resistance, I went back and just seen every case of when these things would break. How do I do this? How do I do this consistently? How can I replicate the success every single day? How can I do that? So I had to go back and study and back test and draw lines, and that's what I had to do. And so I was able, that was step 1, right? But even with doing that and still trading, I still would have big wins and still would have big losses. And so the other thing that I had to learn, right, early in my career, get this, right? And I was ready. I remember there was one day where I lost it was a good amount of money, and I was furious. I wanted to burn something down. And I remember man, this thing works. My entry was great. My entry was amazing. How did I lose? How did I mess this up? Why did I watch this trade? And I was ready to call it quits. And then someone came in, tapped me on the shoulder and says, hey, move your stop loss up. That was it. Moving my stop loss up when I went from having a 30% win rate to almost a 70-75% win rate. That was it. Now to this day where I'm seasoned in my trade plan and in my trade system, and I teach it, and it works, and people are seeing that it actually does work, and you can read the charts like a children's book. I don't have the same issues anymore because I had to learn the hard way. But I was ready to quit. I've been trading for 7 years, and I was ready to quit several times. But it's funny, what I'm realizing is looking back in hindsight, there's typically just one thing. It's just this one small thing that needs to be done, and everything changes and everything clicks. It's one thing. And I don't know what that one thing is for you. It could be moving your stop loss up. It could be mastering your entries. It could be mastering your strategy or your trade plan. And a trade plan is very simple. It doesn't have to be complex. You have your entry, where do you get in? Your exit, where are you planning on getting out? And your stop loss. If things don't work out, where do you cut the trade? You have to have those things properly defined. And you can add another layer, which is your risk management. I'm going to do 1 contract or 2 or 3, and it's going to be X% of my portfolio, or it's going to be this much, it's going to cost this much to me. Whatever that looks like, having those 3 to 4 things defined and trading against that and mastering that to where you can open up any ticker, you can open up it doesn't matter. You'll look at it and your eyes are trained only to see your plan. It's a game changer. And that's all I do. It's a game changer. So mastering your trade plan, which means, hey, maybe your entries are really bad. Maybe you find yourself chasing, red candle, and then you're mad that you didn't get in, and then it's I don't know, maybe it's gonna come back up, and it keeps dropping, and you finally get in. Congratulations, you bought the bottom. You get the reversal. Maybe that's you, and that makes you want to throw a screen, throw something across the room. I understand. Maybe that one tweak that you need is to master your entries. master your entries. You know, maybe you get into a trade, maybe your entries are awesome, and you hold and you hold and you hold and you hold too long, and then it comes back up, and then you get out at 2% gain instead of a 50% gain. Okay? Maybe you need to master your exits, right? Entry, exit, stop loss. Maybe you enter, price moves against you 10%, 20%, 30%. Maybe you need to master your stop loss and say, you know what, that was a bad trade. I'm going to cut it at 20%. I'm going to cut it at 10%. Typically, those are the things. Entry, exit, stop loss. That's all trading is. Knowing where you're going to enter, knowing where you're going to exit, and if the trade moves against you, when to cut. That's all it is. You just need to write down your strategy and trade against that. That's all you got to do is trade against that. And maybe when you're in profits, to keep from holding all the time, you just move your stop loss up. Move your stop loss up so that if you do get this weird reversal, boom, you can capture your profits. Anyhow, I don't want to ramble on too much. I just want to encourage you, if you're thinking about quitting, I promise you that you're very close. You're very close. And it is important to have a good environment, a good community around you. There are a lot of great Discords out there. There are a lot of great videos out there. If you're thinking about quitting YouTube, don't quit trading, or I wanted to quit trading. Watch other videos. I'm not saying I have all the sauce. Watch other videos out there and hear other people's stories that kept them from quitting. What kept me from quitting was that's the biggest thing was moving up my stop loss. And so it's usually just like that one small thing. You are almost there. You're almost there. I believe in you, and I think that you can definitely make it. Join a Discord. Feel free. You can join my free Telegram channel and whatnot. Next time I have another group education, which I call the VIP sauce sessions. Next time I have another one of those, you'll be one of the first to know. You can join, you can trade live with us, and you can learn the system that we teach, or that I teach rather. But otherwise, feel free. You can even go on goldensetups.com and we can do one-on-one coaching, and we can find out exactly where your challenge is. Sometimes you need to hear a voice. Sometimes you need to hear someone's voice, and you need someone to review your trade and help you to see something that you can't. I'd love to do that. You can book a session at goldensetups.com, but this video is not for that. I'm not trying to promote my services. This video here is to encourage you. Listen, you're almost there. There's one thing that you're missing, and when you get that right, everything changes, everything clicks. So hang in there. I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner. This is Golden Focus. We're going to be trading live together tomorrow. Again, feel free to join. Go to goldensetups.com. You can click on live trading and jump in. We're going to be starting at 9:30 tomorrow. I'm going to be looking forward to hanging out with you guys. And thank you. You could have been watching any video on YouTube, but you chose to watch this one. I greatly appreciate that. Make sure you go and hug somebody you love. Talk to you soon. Take care.